You know that terrible feeling when you sit down to write and you just can't? Like you literally can't bring yourself to bring pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, whatever you use, you just can't write. That's called writer's block, and nearly every single writer has experienced that in their career at one point or another, and definitely earlier on in their writing career. But the thing is, I think that the best writers are the ones that have kind of figured out how to navigate the writer's block and definitely make the periods of writer's block shorter and shorter. I've definitely felt writer's block over the years, and I've learned some ways to kind of get around it, again, quicken the writer's block down period. I'm not perfect at it yet. I'm still trying to figure out even better ways to improve, but I wanted to share with you some of the easy ways that I've learned to get over the obstacle of what is called writer's block. So as we go on to this video, we'll be starting with the very easy, quickest ways that you can snap out of your writer's block right then and there, and then moving onwards to like level 5, which is like harder stuff to do, more ongoing stuff. So we'll be leveling up as we go. Without further ado, let's hop into the reasons why you're suffering from writer's block. All right, so reason number 1 is that you're tired. That might seem like a very simple reason to be suffering from writer's block, but it's definitely one that gets to all writers out there. When you're tired, you're losing your train of thought, it's harder to recall words, you get easily distracted and want to go on YouTube. And the thing is that your focus isn't there just because your body is asking you to give yourself a rest. So starting with level 1, right? The easiest thing to accomplish, take a 20-minute nap. You'll honestly be so surprised with how well rested you feel and how energized you feel, the clarity of mind you'll have afterwards. Just take a nap, give your body a rest, you deserve it. Okay. Reason number 2, you're rusty. And for this one, I'll say it's not so much so the fact that maybe you haven't written in a while. It's more so like when you come back to writing and you're facing that initial like, oh, the words aren't coming as easier as they were before, or oh, like I can't get into the writing flow as I did like before I took a break. It's more so the frustration that follows and then the lack of confidence that follows, where you start questioning everything and you're like, maybe I'm not as good of a writer as I thought I was. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. It's that, right? And so that's the thing. The lack of confidence can definitely eat away at you and make writing anything super difficult, and just, you tend to go into this spiral, and that's how you get stuck in writer's block. But the thing is that in those moments, you simply just need to be kind to yourself. Like, just write. And so my level 2 tip is to do a free write every single day. And I do mean every single day for just 10 minutes. Just write whatever's on your mind. Give yourself permission to write anything, and it's about like turning on that tap for creativity again and again. When you start off in the very beginning of your writing career, a lot of it is like learning storytelling devices, learning techniques, and like really great words to use. But as you continue onward and start developing as a writer, it becomes more so the fact of trusting yourself and trusting the fact that you do know what you're doing again and again. That's what the free write is about. It's not about improving your skills necessarily. It's about just knowing that you can turn on that creative tap whenever you want. Reason number 3 that you're suffering from writer's block is that you've been working on the same piece for far too long. This is one that's kind of hard to tell people about, just because in any other aspect of your life, if you have a goal, the best thing that you can do is to like just keep pushing forward and focus on that one thing. For example, right, let's say that you're running a marathon or prepping to run a marathon, and there's a certain part in your training where you're reaching a plateau, or you're just like, it's really hard to push through. The best thing for you in that moment isn't to be like, maybe I should like not concentrate on that and focus on like MMA, and like maybe I'll get better at running, like that logic doesn't make any sense in that situation. But what I've come to find out with creativity is that it is good to have multiple projects at the same time. It seems really counterintuitive, like if I want to focus in on a book and really accomplish that, that I should start another project at the same time. Sounds really bad, but hear me out. So let's say that you have this project that you're working on, it's a book, and you've basically figured it all out, but you're kind of getting stuck on like a plot point. Like you can't figure out like what's going to happen next. The biggest mistake that writers make in that moment is to just be like, I'm gonna figure it out now and dive into it. Like they don't ever take a step back. They don't try to research. They don't try and like mull it over. You know, a lot of writing is just kind of thinking about things. The writer's block comes when they like just keep going at it, don't give it a rest, and not letting the problem solve on its own. If you have like another project to work on that's probably easier for you to get in the creative flow for, by working on that project, you'll have been productive, right? You'll probably have solved the problem in the back of your head for this other project, and you'll probably come at it with a fresh pair of eyes, and it'll be easier for you to work on this other project that you were initially working on. So level 3, work on something else, you know, allow yourself to have multiple projects. Reason number 4 that you're suffering from writer's block is that you're uninspired. You know, it might be really hard for you to write anything new because you haven't been exposed to anything new. A lot of creativity definitely comes from surrounding yourself from new environments, new people, new pieces of art. So it's very difficult to write something new if you're just reading the same books, you're in the same environment, you're like just having the same conversations you have every single day. So if you're stuck in this period where you're actually feeling uninspired, you know, learn something new that you never would have learned otherwise. It just helps to put your head in a different mindset and look at things from a different perspective. Learn new things, like pick a really weird topic to like suddenly study about. Go to a museum, talk to that one person that you think is really cool that you haven't had the courage to talk to yet. Just expose yourself to new stimuli, like, and that'll help you come from a new perspective with your writing. Number 5, you're emotionally burnt out. Honestly, if any of the other tips that I kind of mentioned before don't really like help you get out of writer's block, there might be other things at play in your life that are kind of preventing you from writing. You know, the thing that I've found about writing is that it's a process of emotionally exposing yourself, and it can be a lot to ask yourself to emote for the sake of a story. You know, it can just be extremely draining, especially if you're dealing with other stuff in your life. So if you feel like you don't have a lot of emotional spoons to give to writing, kind of just take a moment and ask yourself what's really going on, what's bothering you. You know, talk to your therapist, journal about it, go for a walk and think about life. Take the time to emotionally and mentally take care of yourself, because nothing is more important than your well-being. I think there is this really big issue that's kind of needled through our society and our values, that the suffering artist is the better artist, when in reality that's simply not the case. Some of the best artists that are living today or have seen success during their lives are the ones that have learned to take care of themselves, like just emotionally be aware of how they're feeling and learned how to live a content life. Because when you're content and like lighthearted, I think that's where a lot of good writing comes from, is that. So number 5, take care of yourself. And so those are my 5 tips for getting out of writer's block. I hope you guys enjoyed and found those very helpful. I'm still early on in my writing career. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way to get out of writer's block. So if you yourself have any other tips or tricks, or if you are like a creative individual and sometimes get blocked, leave a comment below on how you get out of that. I would personally find that very helpful, and I think it'd be very interesting for us all to share. And if you haven't yet, feel free to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that, you know, growing the writing community that we have on this channel. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.